Welcome to Between Both Cheeks, the podcast where we talk business, beauty, and butts. We'll be stripping down the aesthetics industry, whether you're here for spicy beauty tips, savvy business advice, or just a little banter. We've got you covered from front to back. So pull up a cheek and get ready to discover what happens between both cheeks.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Between Both Cheeks. I am wearing my sunglasses for those of you that are watching on YouTube or on Instagram because I've been sick. So I don't look the best, so I'm going to wear my Habibi sunglasses in this episode.
You look the best no matter what you have on or off. So
you're so cute.
But those are fabulous.
Aren't they? Stay tuned. Something's coming soon with these guys.
Oh, more collaborations.
Possibly.
Oh my gosh. We do need to talk about the collaboration later on in the show, but let's get to
we do. Yes, let's get down to it. So, as you heard, we have a special guest. Her voice maybe sounds a little bit different than the rest of the teams. I've got Michelle Beck, who is our model for Strength and Courage with me. And her and I were roommates in Atlanta for the YSC show, which is the Young Survival Coalition show.
It was amazing. My first trade show with Bryght, and I've been asking for years to be a Bryght babe. As soon as I met Luba, I was like, this is something I need to do because it was fabulous. But YSC, so thank you for having me. Also, again, I've been on here a couple times, and I always want to talk about my cancer story, but also the connection I have with Luba and how we just became people who just have this connection. And we didn't meet in person until last year. We've known each other for years virtually. And I think in our world, that's how it happens. But we got to go have 4 amazing fun days last week. Gosh, 2 weeks ago. I don't even know. Time has no concept anymore at YSC in Atlanta. And it was one of the best weekends I've had in a really long time.
Oh, I love that. I'm so glad because I put her to work, you guys.
100% girl power. And I was supposed to go to YSC as a participant in 2020. I had signed up with my person and we were going to make it down there. And then the world just exploded and everything shut down. So I didn't make it. And I had gotten to the point where I was like, I'm in my 50s now. I'm 53, but age is only a number, as we know.
True.
But I hadn't reached out to really do YSC again until a few months ago. Lou was like, hey, do you want to come work YSC with me and be my booth babe and talk about your experience as a model? And I was like, hell yes, I do. Sign me up.
And you rocked it, girl. Like you could have run that show without me.
Well, I'm learning from the master on how to talk about the products and the hype light. Oh my gosh. Now I'm finally comfortable in doing the hype light on other people. But I think YSC was really amazing. I've done other cancer events, and I think something so special about YSC is that it is for those who have been diagnosed pretty much 41 and younger, I think is what it is, or 40, I'm not exactly sure. But unfortunately, so many more women are being diagnosed young, and the majority of them don't know others because in the past breast cancer has been an older woman's disease. But more and more women are getting diagnosed young, like you and so many others we know, that finding a place where you can connect with others and coming to a conference like this or a show or whatever the convention, I don't even know. It's just, but where they provide education and connection and fun and exercise, it's really a very special thing.
It really is. I always say that this part of the business is the feel good part of it, the give back, the feel good part of it. You know, we've got our crazy anal bleaching and our devices and all the things that we're doing over there, but this is like the heartstrings part of the business that I love so much, and that is so important to me because you know I did go through cancer, and I went through cancer in 2020 where no one was around. I mean, I was grateful for it because I kept my diagnosis quiet. But I, reached out to people like you, Jen Rosenbaum, Dana from Anna Ono. I had my own little, cheerleading group and support group virtually online, thankfully.
And that's how you know it, because that's what you went through. But one of the things I talked about to so many of the women who I met at YSC when we were there together is that cancer is the club that no one ever wants to join. But I really do feel like breast cancer has the best membership, because women just, breast cancer affects so much a part of our womanhood. For me, I've had lumpectomies. I've had a bilateral mastectomy with reconstruction. I've had the full hysterectomy. All my lady parts are generally gone, and the ones I still have don't work very well. But being
Right.
able to connect with other women on the same level who've gone through it is amazing. And I know there were many others like you who went through it in 2020. And so being able to come to an event like this in person and hug people. And
Yeah.
one of my favorite parts of the entire weekend, I got to talk about the products, Strength and Courage, which you developed when you were going through your own journey, and realized how amazing they were. So you had to market them with Bryght. But some of the best thing that I felt like I was able to do was give hope, because I'm 8 years out from my second diagnosis. And there were so many women who literally had been diagnosed within the last year or 2 years, and they're still in that really emotional sweet spot.
Yeah.
And for me to be there and be like, hey, look at me. I modeled in my underwear for Bryght, and I'm here at this event. I'm working my butt off, like setting things up, moving things around. We worked.
Yeah.
It was fun, but it is definitely work. And I'm finally at the point where like I can do that, and showing these women who are newly diagnosed or just finishing treatment that there is life after cancer for most. And obviously always a shout out to our metastatic sisters whose journeys are very different. But I am able to say like, look, this is where I'm at. And I hope it gives people encouragement to go out and find things and share their journey, because for me, sharing my journey was part of healing. And I hope they can do that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more with that. I know that when I was first diagnosed, the few people that I did reach out to were cancer survivors. And one of the things that they said to me was, cancer is the best thing that ever happened to me. And I remember thinking, like, you are absolutely crazy. Because this is like the worst thing that could possibly be happening to me. That could, like, I remember thinking, like, I would light a match and I would burn down this house that I worked so hard to get, and everything in it, every belonging, if someone would just tell me the cancer would go away, that it would be gone. So to hear that from someone, I thought, these people are insane. But once you go through the journey, and like you said, I don't know exactly your words, but the best membership with the highest price or whatever, that's a great quote. I'm making up my own now.
It is the club that no one ever wants to join, but has the best members.
There you go. Perfect. It's so true, because I look at all of my experiences, the people that I've met, what's come out of it, whether it be product, helping people, our amazing partnership with Mount Sinai and all the patients that we're helping there in South Beach. It really, truly was the best thing that ever happened to me. And not only on that side of it, but the personal side of it, of like recognizing who I wanted in my life and who I didn't want in my life. Like, that was a big part of it. So truly, like, one of the best things that happened to me was cancer.
Cancer is really funny in that way, in that it shows you what is truly important and who is truly important. Because there are people that after cancer diagnosis will show up, people that you don't expect to show up will show up, and then the ones who you think are your ride or dies, some of them just can't handle it. And it's like, it's not a negotiator, but it's like, it really shows you who will be there for you when shit hits the fan, because that's exactly what cancer is. But then personally, I hope for most people, and it definitely did for me, it allows you time to look and search deep to what is truly important in your life. If cancer were to take you tomorrow, what would you do today? And cancer has given me so many more people and experiences that I am so thankful for. Okay, it wasn't a wrapped gift, but what I took out of it definitely has been so positive in my life.
And that's you hit on such a key point there, is what you took out of it. And that's what it really comes down to, right? I always said that, I felt sorry for myself, and I cried for, a week, and then I got bored. Like I got bored. I was like, feeling sorry for myself is really boring. Like, what are we
wah,
going
wah,
to turn this
wah.
into? Right? Like, that's what is about. It's about. So what are you going to make out of this situation?
Mm-hmm.
It can go either way.
Definitely, it is a choice. It is, do you choose to be the victim of this, or do you choose to make the most out of the hole that you stepped in? Once you climb out, what do you do once you climb out?
Yeah.
For me, when I was going through my 2 cancer diagnoses, writing was a very healing thing for me, because like I'm a talker. I talk and talk and talk, but there's only so much that I could actually talk to the people in my life. They're like, okay. And so I started writing, and over time I turned this into a book. So in the fall of, I don't even know it, fall of 2023, I published a book called I Never Liked Pink: Lessons Cancer Taught Me. And you can find that on Amazon. And literally it is just going through my different diagnoses. But yes, we talk about that, but also each chapter is somewhat of a lesson. Like, control is a big fat lie. Cancer is a full-time job. I literally, those are the 2 titles that just come off the top of my head, but I write about the ups and the downs and the good that came from cancer and the bad, because I'm not going to lie, there is bad. My body is not the same. I can't move the same. Don't get me started on the effects from surgical menopause, but I'm still here and I'm still able to do so many things and enjoy the people in my life, which cancer brought in, and the friends and the family that I have before that are still by my side.
Yeah.
So being able to go and experience something like YSC for these women, and there was so many women, new diagnoses, and those who've been diagnosed 15, 20 years ago, which is also amazing to see.
Yeah.
But just to be surrounded by this group of individuals who want to connect and want to share and hold others up, because there's times when we cannot stand on our own and we need to be held up. And just having that time with you, like sharing a hotel, it was like a sleepover for 3 nights, and hanging out and chatting. And we don't get to do that enough as adult women, because we're so focused on our lives and the day to day. And I've got my 14-year-old daughter and my 2 dogs and my husband, and right now my sister's here, and my one job and my other job. And it's so rare to get that time and to be able to spend it with you, talking about Bryght and being the model, and the model who was chosen with me, Chavali Hope. Just all of that filled my heart so much. And it's going to take me on until the next trade show, until I get to come be a Bryght Babe again.
That's right. One of my favorite things to watch, Michelle, was when people were coming up to our booth and we had the poster of you. And I was like, you'd be like, oh, do you recognize her? I was like, do you recognize her? And people were just like in awe that you were on all this marketing material for Bryght. What was that like for you?
It was pretty amazing. As we were setting up the booth, we're like, okay, where's this and where's that? And you're like, here, set this one up. And I've set up banners before. I've done, various other conferences and such. But literally, I open it up and it's myself and Chavali in our underwear, and we looked fabulous. And It was funny because when we first did the photo shoot, my husband's like, you're going to go take photos in your underwear? I'm like, hell yes, I am. And this is my body. My body's been through a lot. It has survived cancer twice. It has birthed a human, and I am going. But seeing myself on that poster with boxing gloves on and giant smiles, it was just amazing. It lifted me up, and it gave me the confidence and the encouragement to lift up every woman who walked by there, because being chosen last year to be the model for strength and courage was amazing. When I got the news, I cried, because, and I literally felt like I was modeling on the cover of like Vogue or something like that, because it was just such a wonderful experience. And when we shot it last year in Las Vegas, our photographer Brittany in this closed studio, and it was just us women with music and empowerment. And I'm so excited for the next set of women to apply to be the model for this coming year, because I will let you tell your story as to why, but I'm so honored to have been a Bryght model, and I cannot wait to meet the next generation of them.
And this is my whole dream, is to like have all this alumni of these models and then eventually make a calendar out of this, or all come together, or I don't know exactly what the future holds, but this is like the entire purpose, to empower each other, because we need to start normalizing cancer and what cancer looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that means that you're a flatty, whether that means that you've had a lumpectomy, that you've, lost your breasts, you've kept them, you've had surgery, whatever that looks like, this needs to be normalized, and our bodies need to be normalized, and it needs to be put out there.
100%. And are not just looking for breast cancer as well. Last year we had Miranda, and
Correct.
she was amazing in her modeling photos. She is so strong. She's dealt with 2 incurable cancer diagnoses and diseases, and she is just living her life to the best, and her photos just are to die for. I mean, mine are amazing, but when you look at someone else, you're like, oh my God, she looks so good. So
you want to talk about someone that really turned, lemons into lemonade,
oh my
and
gosh,
is,
yes.
Living her best life. It's that girl right there, Miranda.
Yeah, and you can find her at, I believe it's FIOV Fabulous on Instagram.
That's
and
right.
She has something that I can never pronounce. And then but you know what? She has not let anything ever get to her. She gets up and she puts on her wigs and her makeup, and she has her own little like stylist room. Like, I want to be her when I grow up.
I know. We all do. Absolutely. So speaking of the model search is open. We are looking. You can nominate yourself. You can nominate anyone. It doesn't, like Michelle said, it doesn't have to be breast cancer. It can be any type of cancer. It could be you're battling, you're a warrior, you're a survivor. It doesn't matter. Male, female, it doesn't matter. We do not care. We care about sharing your story, making this normal to the world, because this is something that we deal with every single day, but people don't want to talk about the hard stuff. It's super easy. If you just go to our website, brightonup.com, under the model search, you can literally apply from there. The process is quite simple. You go through a couple interviews. We ask you a few questions, and then you're literally selected, and we do an amazing photo shoot where you get incredible photos from. You get to be on our podcast. If you want to write a blog, we'll more than happy share your story on our website. I just want it to be an overall really beautiful experience.
It was. And last year, it's still looking back to that weekend again. It was like another dream weekend with meeting Chavali Hope, and literally that morning at breakfast, and later that day, we're like all over each other in our underwear. And she was black and I am whiter than white. And our contrasts in the look of the photos, it was like, I feel like it's what the world needed right then. It's like, it doesn't matter what color you are, hair, no hair, what type of cancer you had or anything. It's like, it doesn't matter. Human connection is so important. And being with another model at that shoot it was just something that it's like in my top of my memory book forever.
And that was wild, because that was the first year that I selected 2 models.
Yes.
And that's never been done before. We've always had one. So very, very exciting.
It was. So anyone out there, I encourage you to apply, because the experience of a lifetime. I never thought I would be a model for anything. Like, I get on stage, I talk about my cancer journey, but not in my underwear. And you know what? Damn, I look good.
And listen, you get to take that underwear home, which is graciously donated by Dana from Anna Ono. And
100%.
you guys got to take all that swag home, which is another little bonus.
Yes. And also, there's not just the Anna Ono swag, there's Bryght swag. So I have so many t-shirts that I got and took photos in. And one of my favorite ones, it's, I'm not what happened to me, I am what I chose to become. And that is like my Instagram picture, because it is so true. As I said earlier, cancer sucks. And no matter what health issue you have, it is challenging to go through. But really, what determines the strength of your character is how you handle it going forward.
1000%.
And for me, I had to go through it twice. Like, the second time broke me emotionally and physically, but I was not going to let that take me down. I've moved past, I moved beyond. I wrote a book, I published it. I did my own podcast for a while. I hosted a podcast for breast friends for a while. And I counseled women for 5 years at a nonprofit who needed support, because when I needed it, I was given support. So I really feel like being able to go to YSC and continue to pay it forward, I guess. Give others the support that they need, so later on they can support others. Because as much as we would like the cancer moonshot to work and for all the bad things to go away, it's not happening yet. Women are still getting diagnosed, and men also. But we just need to continue to provide support and amazing products like the ones you've created.
Thank you. Thank you. I remember, saying when someone said to me, like, I don't really understand, because didn't this all stem from anal bleach? And I was like, well, yeah, but when I created this in the background, because the doctor told me that I was going to hyperpigment, which was my ding ding moment, right? Like, I already had the best product for hyperpigmentation on the market that can be used in sensitive areas. So I just recreated it with him to make sure that it was super nourishing on the skin. And it was a laser tech that was in the industry for 25 years and my oncologist. And they both said to me, what are you using on your skin? Because it looks like cancer never happened. And in that instant, I knew that cancer was my gift to give back to people to have relief in their skin.
And I use them all the time. As I was telling people, the women who are coming up to the booth, like, strength. I keep that. I have one in my car. I have one in my nightstand. I have one downstairs. It's like my tweezers and my chapstick. I keep them everywhere because it is so important to my skin. And the courage I use with my Hype Light, which is it's a green light, which does different things than the red lights and the blue lights that are out there. But it, as Luba says, it is a 3-minute mini facelift, and you use it and it just goes bing, and it just makes your muscles all tighten up. And I use it on my neck. My neck used to be a lot worse. It's gotten better. But okay, the funniest thing, I had like a middle of the night wake up moment last week, and I was like, Hype Light, hyperpigmentation. It was like a light bulb went off in my head. And I've had it since it came out, and I use it all the time. But I was like, I was just thinking hype, like it's exciting and it's this and that. No, hyperpigmentation.
Things are intentional, but people don't know it all the time, but they're intentional.
Yeah. I mean, that's what cancer brain does to you. Things don't always hit right away, but eventually they'll be like, oh, that tracks.
That's so funny. Yeah, I mean, and the products can be used as like I remember my doctor calling me, and this was I was undergoing treatment, and he called me at 8:00 at night. I was at a restaurant, and you don't want to get any late night phone calls from, I always say, your lawyer, your doctor, or your accountant.
Nope.
And I picked up the phone. I went outside. I was prepared for bad news, and the first thing he said to me was, "Don't worry, it's not bad news." And I said, okay. And he goes, this sample that you dropped off of Courage, like, what is this? And I was like, well, I kind of went into it. And he goes, I've been mixing a little bit of my retinol in it. And he goes, I swear to God, I look younger. He's like, this is anti-aging. So it can be used for everything, you guys. It's not just for cancer patients or people that are going through cancer treatment. I use strength on my feet all the time. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can use it on bug bites, implement burns, baking burns, mosquito bites, like absolutely anything it can be used on. I always say that Courage on your face feels like your face just drank a gallon of water. Mm-hmm. It's so hydrating with no scent and no junk in it. It's all natural. I'm obsessed. I love it. I'm so glad that out of something so bad, such beautiful products came out of it. And one of my other favorite parts of the show, YSC, was when people were literally walking up to us and the first thing they would say is, your products changed my life.
I was literally going to talk about that because that happened multiple times at the show, from the nurse who says that she gives these products to all of her patients. Mm-hmm. And she sat down and placed an order when she was there for the face-off cloths, but also so many of these things, and that she was ordering the products for her daughter, and she talks about it to all her patients. But that was so impactful. But then also when everyone checked into the conference, they got a goodie bag, and in their bags were a sample postcard of Luba, which is amazing. But then there was the samples of Strength and Courage attached. And there was one woman who went back and used them on Friday night. She had blemishes and she had broken out from her current medication used. And I think it was Strength, because that is for the spots and what's used for the radiation and different things. And she could tell a difference overnight. from using that product, and literally came to the booth the next morning and purchased the product after using the samples overnight. And I can't think of a better testimonial than that in terms of how amazing the products are.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that, like I said, this is the feel good part of it. And I'm so excited. Those of you that maybe have purchased in the past, I don't know if you have noticed, but the prices have actually been reduced. So as much as we're having all of these conversations about tariffs and price increases and stuff, I've reduced the prices of Strength and Courage on the set, on Courage separately, and on Strength, because for me, it is a mission to make sure that everyone gets this in their hands. They deserve to have their skin taken care of while they're going through such a difficult time. If I can provide some relief in that sense, that's what we're going to do. So this is about a passion project. This is not about profits for me.
That is huge, because for those of us who are in the US right now, everything is more expensive. It's a little chaotic at this point, and with the new tariffs, everything is going to continue to go up. And when you have cancer or going through cancer treatment, the last thing you have is spare money for anything, because you're paying all those appointments and you're out of pocket, and it's expensive. So I applaud you for doing that. That's a really bold move. As you said, it's not these products are not for the profit. Like, you've got your anal bleach side for that, and that is thriving as well. And it's always funny, because when I was talking about you at the show, I'm like, this is Luba, she's our CEO. She previously had a skincare company, and then she was diagnosed. They're like, oh, what was a skincare company? I was like, well, she invented anal bleach. And they're like, what? And it was funny, the reactions. It was either like the women who had never heard of it before, or like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Can we talk about that?
I know. Which again is so wild, because, like, as I was developing Strength and Courage and it was coming to fruition, I talked to a lot of mentors and business people and very successful people. And they're like, well, like, you have to separate this completely. Like, you cannot even have a conversation that, you invented anal bleach and now you're talking about cancer products. And I struggled with this for a long time, and sometimes I still do. But I was like, you know what? This is the story. This is the story, and this is how it happened. And if I didn't have a product that dealt with hyperpigmentation for sensitive areas, when that doctor said to me, you're going to hyperpigment, that bell never would have rang. Like, it's part of the journey. It's part of the story. So it might not be for everyone, but listen, I've never really done anything that is for anyone.
It would be disingenuous to not tell it that way, because exactly like you said, this is how it happened. You wouldn't have had that relationship with the lab to go in and say, let's create this together, because you had that. And your focus has been, yes, let's make this product for pigmentation, but let's make it clean and vegan, and all the bad things are out, all the good things are in, because that is important. And especially for those of us who have gone through cancer, we have enough bad stuff that's been in and around our bodies, and being able to put stuff on there that is actually clean makes you feel better.
Yeah. Yeah. And someone who's been in the beauty industry for a very long time, I'm very familiar with all of the brands. And one of the things that I'm going to pick my words very carefully here. One of the things that I have a major, major issue with is these huge companies that send out all these PR boxes. They have all the money in the world to do anything with. They're sending, cancer survivors, thrivers to, 5-star hotels, retreats, paying them for posts to talk about their products, when they are actually using products, carcinogenics in their products that are cancer-causing ingredients, and are in open lawsuits about this currently. It's criminal. They should be
mind-boggling.
They should be in jail. So this is another mission of, I'm not a huge company like them, but if I can offer clean, natural products that are healthy to put on your skin, again, this is a passion project. This is not for profit.
No. And that's what it just shows, your drive and your compassion to do this for others. Because you didn't have to do this. You could have been like, okay, this works for me. Great. Giving it to your friends and family. But you're like, no, because you run a full-time business. You have so many things going on, and adding more products to that line is not an easy thing to do.
No.
But it was so important to you, because you know how how much it helped you, how much the products helped you. So why not put them out there to help all the others who need it? And it's not just for breast cancer. I mean, for various skin conditions, I just cannot recommend them enough. I was lucky enough to, Luba, as we were packing up, she goes, "Do you want to take home the Courage Tester?" And I was like, hell yes, I do, because mine at home is out. So
Yeah.
I've taken that and I just slather it on every day.
Yeah, it's amazing. I had the best time. I can't wait to do next year. I don't know where it's going to be.
I know.
But we'll soon find out, hopefully. You guys, please make sure that you check out Michelle's Instagram, what is it again, Michelle, really quick?
I Never Liked Pink.
There you go. And her book, I Never Liked Pink.
Yes, book I Never Liked Pink, available on Amazon. It is a lovely $9.99. I don't get a whole lot out of it, and it's not about the money. The same thing. It was about putting it out into the universe, because if I feel like if my book helps one person and it makes their journey a little bit easier, then I feel like a success.
And it's an amazing book. I love it.
Thank you.
I should have brought it for you to sign. I was just thinking that.
Well, that just means we have to get together again soon.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks so much for joining us for another episode. Stay tuned till next week, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.